Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please start.
Okay, sir.
Hello everyone. It is with immense pleasure that I welcome you all to this live session organized by DU Buzz, one of the fastest growing YouTube channel trying to give meaning to life by providing the students of Delhi University with all the relevant and necessary information, be it the admission process, joining of different clubs and societies in the university, and a lot more.
We are going to host this event with this aim of letting the audience know that how to ace written and SSB, which means Services Selection Board, FEET interviews, and other competitive exams along with your graduation.
If you want to shine like a sun, first burn like it. These were the insightful thoughts of our Honorable President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. In this session, we will look forward to Brigadier Kulwant Singh Sir, who has served the Indian Army for 35 years. During his tenure, he has held many prestigious commands and staff appointments.
He was also awarded with Param Vishishta Sena Medal by the President of India on Republic Day 1993, Param Sena Medal by the President of India on Republic Day 2004. For the last 7 years, he has been deeply associated with the Youth Center for Skill Development at MD Rohtak. More than 300 candidates have got selected in the SSB for commissioning into the Indian Army, Indian Navy, and the Indian Air Force. And the number is increasing every month. He has a knack of imparting knowledge and instilling confidence in the candidates and ensuring that they remain motivated and focused on their roadmap. He is a perfect example of a prestigious commander with all his deeds devoted to his country.
The topics that we will be covering in this session include Sir's preparation strategy for SSB exam and his journey to IMA, habits one can inculcate to crack SSB exam, how the habit of newspaper reading helped him to master the SSB exam, and finally, building up your personality traits, communication skills for different competitive exam, followed by a question and answer round by our audience.
भारत माता तेरी गाथा, सबसे ऊंची तेरी शान, तेरे आगे शीश झुकाए दे तुझको हम सब सम्मान. भारत माता की जय. So today is also a great day for all of us, that is Navy Day. So a very happy Navy Day to all of you. With this note, we would like to welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a veteran from the Indian Army, and like you have said, that after my retirement, I am devoting my time guiding children who are aspiring to become officers in the defense services. Without wasting any time, I will straight away come to the topic, which is how to prepare for any competitive examination, side by side your academics, which is already you all are pursuing. I would like to tell you that you can ask me a question anytime that you have in your mind. Don't wait for the end of the session when there are far too many questions and it gets cluttered up. The point can be clarified there and then. So please do not hesitate asking any doubt at any stage of our interaction. Now, before I start, I just want to tell you one thing, that you must have seen people on the roadside or at many places trying to break a stone. Whenever some people, they want to break a big stone, it does not break in the first shot or the second shot or the third shot, or for that matter, even the 20th shot. But maybe at the 21st shot, the stone breaks. That does not mean that the first 20 shots had gone waste. Similar is the case with progress. Whenever children are preparing for some exam, it may appear to them that they are not reaching anywhere. The progress is not so much as is desired by them or desired by their parents or their teachers. But you should always remember, this breaking of the stone, it is not the 21st shot where the stone broke that matters. The earlier 20 shots, each of them mattered. Now, to make this more clear, I will give you another example. You must all have seen a wall clock. So if we want to know the progress in life, you see the seconds needle. The seconds needle, you can see it moving. The minute needle also you will be able to observe it moving if you pay attention to it. But the hour needle, you keep staring at it and you will not see it moving. But in a day, the hour needle makes 2 complete circles of the clock. Progress is also something like the hour needle. Initially, when you are working hard, people do not realize that you have made a progress. You yourself do not realize you have made a progress. But over a period of time, you will realize that a tremendous amount of progress has been made due to the effort that has been put in by you. Now,
Yes, sir.
whether it is a civil job or a job in the armed forces, or for that matter, any job of any category, in case you want to do well in that job, there is one quality which you must have, and that is called leadership. Now, the question is, books and books have been written on leadership. One can talk for hours and hours on leadership. But the question is, if you ask me in the simplest way, how do you become a leader? I will say that to become a leader, you must have knowledge. Once you have knowledge, you are automatically a leader, because anybody who wants to follow you, he will follow a person who has got knowledge. Keep this thing in mind, that leadership is all about acquiring knowledge, and whatever knowledge that you have acquired is making you a leader, a better leader every day. Would any one of you like to follow somebody who does not have good knowledge about that particular subject? So if you
No,
are
sir.
not going to follow somebody who does not have knowledge, how do you expect to become a leader and ask somebody else to follow you if you do not have knowledge? So the first principle in life is to gain knowledge, which fortunately it cannot be acquired during birth. It cannot be inherited. You have to put in a tremendous amount of hard work each day, right from the childhood till now. Whatever hard work has gone in has added to your knowledge. So this is something which has to be acquired, and it cannot be inherited. Now, this photograph is an actual photograph of the 1962 war. In the 1962 war, the Indian Army was told to vacate Arunachal Pradesh, which was then called NEFA. NEFA was Northeast Frontier Agency. So when the Indian Army vacated the Arunachal Pradesh, then called NEFA, even the civilians had to vacate that area because the Chinese had come in. But all these civilians could not be vacated. There were many civilians, men, women, and children, who stayed behind. When the Chinese came in, they stayed there for approximately 3.5 months. During those 3.5 months, they did not molest any girl, rape any woman. They did not steal anything. They did not trouble anyone. When they left that place, and the locals who had left their house, when they reached their house, they found everything intact. Somebody had left some money in some bottle or in some place in the Almera. They found their money which was lying there and was not stolen. On the other hand, if you see the Pakistanis, the Pakistan Army, when they came in 1947 or 65 or 71, all they were doing was looting and plundering and molesting and raping, with the result that the Pakistanis lost each and every war. If discipline can make so much difference in the life of a country, if discipline can make so much of a difference to the future of any country, imagine how much difference it will make in the life of a human being. Anybody who does not have discipline in him is unlikely to do well. When I say discipline, please don't get mistaken by the word obedience. Obedience is something which is not a good quality. Obedience till about class 5th, 6th, maybe up to class 8th is all right. But those who are aspiring to join the forces or want to do well in life, you must remember that there is a big difference between obedience and discipline. What we are looking for is discipline in a human being, a discipline in a person. Like all the animals are highly disciplined. If you see the birds, they are highly disciplined. So in case you feel that you have this quality of discipline in you, I have no doubt that this will come to you very, very useful in your progress in your life.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing I must tell you, that you must all have your own blueprint. When I say blueprint, you must ask, do you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint? Now, to make this blueprint, in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Do not allow anyone to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count, you have worth. Always feel that your life has an ultimate significance. Nobody has a right to tell you that you are useless. Even your parents do not have the right to tell you that you are useless. Nobody is useless. And when I talk of a blueprint, means how you plan to live your life, how you plan to complete your education, your graduation, your post-graduation, your competitive exams, whatever you want to do. You must have a lot of ingredients in your blueprint as to what you want to do in life. But one of them, which is very, very important, is that you should take a very clear decision that you want to lead a dignified life. The day you decide to lead a dignified life, you will find that automatically things start improving around you and you move forward in the right direction with that aim in mind, that whatever job you do, you are going to take up only and only a dignified role in that particular job.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing is that you should all keep moving forward. Never give up. The beginning is always the hardest. So you must remember that anybody who has not given up ultimately has succeeded. To quote an example, APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president, he was rejected for becoming a pilot. Amitabh Bachchan was rejected for a job in the All India Radio. Rajnikant was a bus conductor. Akshay Kumar was a waiter. MS Dhoni was a TTE. Nawazuddin Siddiqui was a watchman. Similarly, Dhirubhai Ambani, Sachin Tendulkar, Shah Rukh Khan. Sachin Tendulkar had failed in class 8. Shah Rukh Khan, his first salary was rupees 50. But all these fellows did was they never gave up. Determination to achieve excellence in various fields of endeavor should be our aim. So if you have determination, nobody can stop you from doing well. Now, I'm going to give you only two advice. So first I have given, and the second advice is stay away from negative people. When I say stay away from negative people have a problem for every solution. They will never have any solution for a problem that you have. Successful people stay away from negative thinking people. And with some people, the less you associate, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your own mediocrity. So keep this in mind, that you should always keep away from negative people. Your friends
Yes, sir.
will stretch your imagination or choke your dreams. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. So keep in mind that do not expect to see positive changes in your life if you get surrounded yourself by negative people. Never receive advice from any unproductive people. With this, I mean to say, anybody who has not done well in life will tell you 100 ways of how not to do well in life. Those who never succeed themselves are the first one to tell you how not to succeed. You ask a person who has passed in an exam, and he will tell you how simple it is to get through. But you see a person who has failed 10 times, he will tell you 101 reasons why you cannot pass. So keep away from negative people. A negative mind will never give you a positive advice. Now, to achieve excellence in big things, develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude. What do you mean by this? With this, what I want to convey is that in case you want to achieve excellence, start achieving excellence in small things in life. Say, for example, you want to make tea. Get into a habit of making good cup of tea. If you want to wash your clothes, make sure that you wash them properly. In case you want to study in your room, make sure that the room is neat and tidy. Things are placed in a very orderly manner. When you get up in the morning, you want to leave your blanket. Don't leave it without folding it properly. Your bed sheet, everything should be very neatly done up. Once, whether you are polishing your shoes or ironing your clothes, even small things, if you start getting perfection in small things, I am sure, I am very positive that you will achieve excellence and perfection in big things also. But you cannot directly achieve excellence without being excellent in small issues. So even while making notes, even while writing, trying to improve your handwriting, make sure that you put in some effort to improve, and you will find that once you start improving on small things, bigger things will also fall in place. Now,
Yes, sir.
then you carry out your analysis. So carry out an analysis of your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, second thing is the subjects and the preparation for written examination. Next, task, following a routine and carrying out regular testing and subsequent analysis. Now, these are the things that I am going to explain to you in some detail so that you are very, very clear about how you should prepare for any exam. My first thing is, let us talk of newspaper. Newspaper is a very, very important material for any college-going student to do well. Not only in an exam, but to do well. How to study a newspaper? First thing is, you should have 3 registers. In the first register, you should try and write down at least 3 words every day. For example, today you have read that there was an acrimonious talk between the Indian and the Pakistani flag meeting, or the Indian and the Chinese flag meeting. So you have read the word is acrimonious. Yeah.
I
No.
don't know
So,
something.
so you do not know the meaning of acrimonious. So in the first register, what you do is you write down the word acrimonious and refer to a dictionary. Try and write a few sentences in English or in Hindi or in both. Then see what is its antonym and what is the synonym of acrimonious. Say, for example, you've read in today's paper that the match was very scintillating. So if you do not know what scintillating, again refer to the dictionary, find out the meaning of scintillating. So every day, if you write down 3 words from the newspaper, the meaning which you do not know, learn the meaning, write 1 or 2 sentences. Learn the meaning in English and Hindi, and find out the antonym. In 1 month, you will have about 90 words, which you did not know earlier. Maybe in 2 months, you will have about 180 words. And third month, you will not find in the newspaper meaning which you do not know. So this is one aspect that is for you to understand that in a newspaper, you will find those words which are mostly currently in use and are very favorite for those in any of the written examinations or in the SSB, like their WAT or at many places where, supposing if you have heard something that has happened in, say, it is in Ukraine, it is the capital of Ukraine. So see on the map where is Ukraine, which are the neighboring countries, what is the kind of a government there. I'll take a simpler example. Say, for example, you have read something in the newspaper that people in Assam are not happy with CAA and NRC. So just see whether, what is the type of government there, who is the chief minister there, and then see which are the neighboring states of Assam, and maybe which are the countries which are close by. So you will have a very fair understanding about the Assam as a state and what it is famous for. Maybe what is the dance there, what is the river flowing there. The dance is Bihu. Been resolved. Then there are certain places which have been put in the 6th schedule, some districts. Then you go to the 3rd register. So the 2nd register is, it will make you good in general knowledge. So every day when there is some news, you write down that place and everything about that place, and you will find that you will have a very good general knowledge, and your general knowledge will develop within a month or so, because or maybe even less, because everything which is coming in the newspaper is current, and what is relevant is only current. Nobody will ask you about what happened when Raja Hari Singh had signed the instrument of accession. That's thing of the past. Now the 3rd register that you should use is, what is the news? So write about 3-4 lines. What is NRC? What is CAA? And also write a line or 2 as to why is it that Assam is unhappy with the CAA and the NRC. So if you write every day something which is important, you will find that within a period of time, you will have your register full of all the things which are latest. Second thing is, you must have some magazines. Some good magazines are like Pratiyogita Darpan is a good magazine, and maybe Outlook or Competition Success Review, whatever you want, whatever is to your liking, your temperament, and your budget. You must have some general knowledge books with you. Initially go in for a thin one, a smaller one, and once you are conversant with the smaller one, then you can go in for a medium-sized general knowledge book. Then develop English speaking, reading, and writing skills. Now, this is very important. Though in the Indian Army, I'm talking of the Service Selection Board, English is not important. What is important is power of expression. Power of expression is different from communication skills, but still you should have a good communication skill You should speak well, read well, and write well. If you see in the service selection board, the psychological portion is all about writing. You have to write the thematic apperception test, you have to write the word association test, you have to write the situation reaction test, you have to write the self-description things. Reading is very important. They will give you only 5 minutes to read that group planning exercise and 10 minutes to write your solution. So writing is very important. Speaking, of course, whether it's a lecturate or a group discussion or a discussion or group planning exercise or your entire interview. So you have to develop speaking, reading, and writing skills. One way to do this is you read the editorial of a newspaper at least 5 times. Read them loudly. Note down the time. The first time it may take you 5 minutes. Second time it may take you 4 minutes. Third time it may take you only 3 minutes. But you see the fluency with which you speak. The fluency with which you will speak will improve in the third attempt or the fourth attempt, but read the same editorial 4, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Say it takes you 3 minutes to read an editorial and you read it 10 times. You have spent only half an hour in that day, but you will find a tremendous improvement in your spoken English. Now you must get into the habit of reading some books. Books like Chetan Bhagat, Shiv Khera, Robin Sharma, or for that matter, I think most of the children where I interact, they have all read this book, The Wings of Fire by APJ Abdul Kalam. So once you have started reading books, you will find that your reading skill improves, your writing skill improves, your knowledge improves, and you have enough material to interact with people. So you should read a lot of books and good books. Then you should have sufficient writing material with you whenever you are preparing for an exam. There should be no dearth of writing material, including your rough register and a fair register and some smaller registers. Like say, for example, you want to join the armed forces. So you must have a small notebook in which you write down everything that is happening about the modernization of the armed forces. Today, now you must have heard that the aircraft which landed in Purvanchal Express, so that was C-130. And what are the new equipment that the Indian Army or the Air Force or the Navy is procuring? So you can have a small booklet, a small notebook for the defense services. Similarly, you can have a small booklet on what is happening within the country, like say, for example, digitization in the country, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and what is that called? Gati Shakti, or for that matter, one product, one district, one product, or Atmanirbhar Bharat, or Udan, or Khelo India. So many things are happening in this country. So you can make 3 registers, one of the national, one of the regional, one of the international news. Now, the second aspect is of the routine. You must have a well thought out routine. Cover the entire gamut of activities for the routine. And remember, there is no time to waste in the formative years. This is not the age for you to waste a single day. You must have time for your friends and for social activities. Do not think that if you are chatting with your friends, sitting with your friends, going for a movie, going to the canteen to have a cup of tea, or going to the library, these are all a part of your well thought out routine. Participation in extracurricular activities and games are very, very important. So you must have a well thought out routine. Now, time management. Time management is very, very important. Can anybody tell me, what do you understand by time management? I can see Jia, so I will ask Jia only. What do you understand, Jia, by time management?
So time management is basically how to manage your time effectively, which includes your daily routine too, your daily task too, and the things which are important for you.
Yes. So basically, if you see, time management has got nothing to do with time. It has got something to do with your setting the priorities. Meeting somebody is not a time management. It is a commitment that you have made that you want to meet so and so at, say, 1600 hours. But when I say time management, I mean prioritizing things and do only things which are of high priority and leave the rest. Say, for example, today you have woken up in the morning and written down that you will do 5 things. But you have written priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And priority 5 can be something which can be very easily done. Forget about it. Don't do it. Do priority 1. It may take 2 days. But once you have done priority 1, then move to priority 2. Maybe the second day you've written 3 and done only 1. Third day you have written 4 and you have been able to do 2. Fifth day you have written 6 jobs to be done, but you could do only 1. But what you have done so far is the top priority task, with the result that in last 4-5 days you have done about 5 or 6 top priority things. Unless you focus on priority things, you will be poor in time management. So whatever is not a priority can be left aside. You may not even do it. It will not matter at all. But do not ignore a thing for which you have yourself laid down a priority. Second thing is your balanced routine. If your routine does not have academics as a part of it, or it does not have sports as a part of it, or technology, every day you should learn something new about technology, and extracurricular activities, health and nutrition, everything has to be a part of your routine. You must go to the gym or go for run or go for a walk, or and when I say nutrition means you should make sure that in your diet it is not just the junk food. Some good habits are developed of eating good food. And you must remember that there are only 24 days in a day, and everybody has 24 days. And anybody who is focused only on academics will not do well. Anybody who's focused only on sports will not do well. And anybody who is not spending time with the friends, again, there is something wrong with them. If you are not watching the TV serials or going for a movie, that means your time management is useless. So make sure that you have a very, very balanced routine. Now, after you have started preparing, you should carry out analysis of what you have done. So assess yourself on where you stand today with reference to the selection process. Say, for example, you have a SSB in January. So you should conduct a gap analysis as to where am I today. If you see from today till you're passing the service selection board, you are left with about a month and a half or 2 months. Then where do you stand today and what is it that you can do in these 2 months? So create a roadmap to develop yourself in the time that is left. Say, for example, the SSB is in January, so you are left with roughly about 2 months or a month and a half. So in this month and a half, create a roadmap as to what all can you do. Then develop expertise on a couple of areas that will help you in the process. When I say develop expertise in a couple of areas, I can see Harsimar. Harsimar?
Yes, sir.
I want to know from you, in case, firstly, do you have any expertise on a particular subject?
Sir, mathematics and economics.
Very good. So I'm so happy. That means you have 2 fields where you are prepared to get grilled in any interview as far as economics is concerned. Similarly, everybody should have even smaller topics. Like, say, for example, somebody can say that, yes, I know everything that is happening in Jammu and Kashmir or in the Red Corridor. So you have read 1 or 2 books on Red Corridor, and you have started reading in the magazines whenever there's a news on Red Corridor, or maybe Nagaland, or maybe Jammu and Kashmir. So whatever it is, once you feel that you are a master of that particular subject, then you will feel very confident. And generally in the armed forces, service selection board, they are not interested in knowing what you do not know. They are interested in knowing what you know. So supposing you know everything about Kashmir, you have 1 or 2 good books on Kashmir, you have got an interest developed. So whenever there is an article in any newspaper or magazine or in the news, you are keeping a tag of whatever is happening there. So you must develop the expertise in a couple of subjects. Economics, like he said, is of course very big. Maths, he said, is again very big. But in the economics, if you can say that this is my forte, this particular thing is my field, where I can not only give a good talk, but I can take on any questions on that. So make this a habit of having expertise in a couple of areas. Now we will talk about the Service Selection Board. When you talk of the Service Selection Board, there are 15 officer-like qualities which are classified into 4 factors. The factors are, the first factor is planning and organizing, which is a quality of your head. So say for example, Harman, can you hear me? Harman is not able to hear me then, or his mic is off. Deepak, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Harman is now on light. Okay. Yeah, Deepak.
Yes, sir.
Deepak, what do you understand by planning and organizing? It's a quality of the head.
So planning the particular task, for example, if I have planned to go for a trip, then what all things I'll be planning for? For example, I'll be booking the tickets. I'll be packing my bag according to the weather there.
Okay.
be-
Yeah, absolutely. But you have gone slightly deep into the subject.
Yes, sir.
What I am trying to say is, whenever in the SSB they ask you a question, tell me something about your academic background. So there is some kind of a planning in your head, how much to tell. Should I start from my class 1? Should I start from class 5th? Should I start from my class 10th, 12th onwards? Or should I start from my graduation and then go back? So whatever question is asked, either in the interview or in a casual conversation with your friend, when they ask you something, there is some kind of a planning and organizing going on in your head as to how much to tell, what all to tell. Supposing if we ask you, how are you keeping today? So you, within a fraction of a second, will think, should I tell him that I've got fever? Should I tell him that I've got cough and cold? Or should I tell him, no, I'm generally all right and I'm feeling okay? So whatever questions are asked to you, either in an interview or otherwise, there is some kind of a planning and organization that starts in your head. Now, this is one quality which you should sharpen because the time to answer is less. Second thing is a social adjustment. This is a quality of the heart. There are many questions by which you can make out whether a fellow is socially adjusted or not. Like say, for example, in the SSB, if they ask you, what is your daily routine, or how do you spend your spare time, or how do you spend your holidays? So you get to know about the social adjustment of that person. Then the factor 3 is social effectiveness, which is the leadership qualities. Now, social effectiveness, if you see, are the qualities which you have developed right from your childhood till now. We'll see it in the next slide. And the fourth factor is dynamic, which is the qualities of your hands and your limbs. Now, planning and organizing is something like effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability, your power of expression, then social adjustment, social effectiveness, initiative. How do you find out whether somebody has taken initiative or not? So if you see his PIQ form that he has filled, there are so many things that he has done in life which he has endorsed in that. Self-confidence, speed of decision, ability to influence a group, liveliness, these are all social effectiveness. And determination, courage, stamina are dynamism. Now, how do these qualities get checked? There are 3 different ways of checking the same qualities: a group testing technique, a psychological technique, and the interview technique. So all the 3 techniques look for the same qualities which I have shown you in the previous slide. Now, any job that you apply, you have to fill in your biodata. In the army, that biodata is known as a personal information questionnaire. This is known as a PIQ form, personal information questionnaire. Like when you apply for a job, you can write your own biodata, but here in the army, there are fixed columns and you have to go as per the columns. In the beginning itself, there is a column for your family background where they want you to write down about your mother, your father, and their qualification and their age and what they are doing today and the kind of job that they are in. Everything about your family. You must know about your family background. Everybody knows about his family background, but they are not able to express. Say, for example, if somebody says that my father is in the real estate, so he should have good knowledge about the real estate. If somebody says that my father is in the Corps of Artillery, then he should have a very good knowledge about the army. Now, the second column is academic background. You must know your academic background and you should be able to explain your academic background as to what all did you do in your school, what subjects you chose, why did you choose those subjects, what were your options after 10th, what were your options after 12th, how many exams did you give after 12th, why did you choose a particular college, why did you choose a particular subject. So these are the things that they ask you from the PIQ form. Similarly, co-curricular activities, you must know what co-curricular activities you have participated in your school and your college, and then you should be able to explain about it. Another thing is the extracurricular activities. These are very important, and you should have good knowledge about the extracurricular activities which you have indulged in when you were in the school or now in the college. So if you say that you had gone on a trip for rafting or trekking, or you had gone to see some place, or whatever are the extracurricular activities that you have participated in, you should be able to prove that you have taken good interest and you have good knowledge about it. You must have some hobbies and interests. It is not easy to have any hobby. So if somebody does not have any hobby, there is nothing wrong with it. But you should have a reason why you do not have an hobby. It is very expensive to have an hobby. You do not have the resources at young age in the school or college to have hobbies. So if you have, is fine, but if you don't have, it is all right. But if you do not have interests, then there is a problem. You must have a few interests in life, not one or two, but maybe 5, 6 or more. And then you should have a very good knowledge about your interest. Say, for example, if reading books is your hobby or your interest, so you should be able to say the last book that you read. Why did you read that book? You should know something about the author. And if they tell you what is the message this book wants to convey, you should be able to do that. And if you mention that reading books is your interest or your hobby, then you should have read at least a few books. Now, participation in sports. It is not necessary that you have to excel in sports. It is not necessary that you have represented your college or your school. You may not have even represented your house in the school. But as long as you are playing some games and you have reasonably good knowledge about those games, it is good enough. Now, there is a column in the PIQ form of achievements. When you talk of achievements, a person who has not achieved anything so far is unlikely to achieve anything in future. That is why they want to know what have been your achievements so far in your extracurricular activities, in your co-curricular activities, in your sports, in your academics, any place where you have had even this very small achievement, you must make a mention of that. No achievement is small. For example, if somebody is a monitor in class 8, it's a big achievement that out of 40 children, the person got selected as a monitor. Now, they will ask you why you want to join the forces. Why do you want to join the armed forces? So you should have very good reasons why you want to join the defense services. The status in the army is very high. You are a class 1 officer from the day 1, and you reach a very high band of pay scale in 13 years of service. Somebody may be wanting to join the forces because they are very passionate about serving the country. You should have a very good knowledge about the current affairs. Anybody who has kept his eyes and ears open is preferred during the service selection board, that he knows what is happening in and around him. Now, any organization that you want to join, you must have good knowledge about that organization. So you should know about the modernization in the Indian Army, the modernization in the Indian Air Force, and the modernization in the Indian Navy. So you should have a very good knowledge about the Indian Army, about the Indian Air Force, about the Indian Navy. I have mentioned space mission here because to some extent this is also interrelated to the armed forces also. And you should know about Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan and the space mission. What is Pragyan? What is Vikram, the lander, Vyom Mitra, the robot which is going to be sent to the space when this Gaganyaan is now launched. Now, in the service selection board, there are two stages of testing. The stage one is called a screening test, in which there are intelligence tests and picture perception and description test. Of course, for this, it can't be covered in a small lecture like this, and one has to take a proper guidance. Second thing is intelligence test and picture perception test. In case you clear these, then only you go to stage two, in which there are psychological tests, where there is a thematic apperception test, word association test, situation reaction test, and the self-description test. Then there are 8 GTO tasks. Then there is an interview, and then there is a conference. Now, you must remember one thing, that you will never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So the first impressions are created within 5 to 10 seconds of your meeting or a conversation. So what is more important is your appearance. You cannot be shabbily dressed. And this is something that it is not that in an interview you go very smartly dressed. Make it a habit that you are always smartly turned out. If you see this girl on the left and you see the girl on the right, it is very clearly visible that the girl on the left, if she goes to any department, she will not be treated well. If she is late by even 5 minutes to, say, pay her electricity bill, they are going to say that, no, the time is up, the office closes at 3 o'clock and you are late. But if this lady on the right, she goes to the same office about 5 minutes late, seeing her personality, seeing her turnout, they might say, all right, madam, you are late by 5 minutes, but we'll accommodate you. So a turnout is very, very important, not just for the interview, but make it a habit that you are always smartly turned out. Similarly, turnout is something which is outwardly, like say your body is gift wrapped. But internally, if there's a lot of muck inside, then again, you don't improve your personality. So whatever muck is inside you, say, for example, ego, negativity, selfishness, or say abusiveness, greed, whatever are the negative things that are in your head, please throw them out and make sure that you make maximum use of the words like good day, please, thank you, excuse me, sorry. These are the words, these are the social graces. So remove all negativity that you have in your head, like abusiveness, like ego, selfishness, anger, just throw it out. And outwardly, you should look good. Inwardly, you should look good, and make sure that you have social graces. Now I'm going to just finish my talk, but very soon I'll take the question answer session. But before that, I want to tell you 7 ways to ruin your life. Now you will ask me why I have chosen, why not 7 ways to improve your life? I have purposely chosen 7 ways in which anybody can ruin his life, because it is simpler to understand this. First way to ruin your life is to worry about what the others think of you. This is something which most of us think, that what is the other fellow thinking about me? To hell with them, you just don't worry about this. Second thing is when you complain about everything. There are people, they are unhappy in summers, they are unhappy in winters, they are unhappy in rainy seasons, they are unhappy and they complain about the train service, about the bus service, about the college, about the class, about the teacher. So this is where you can ruin your life. Third thing is when you compare yourself to others. There is no reason for you to ever compare yourself with anybody. Everybody is different. What he is, you cannot be, and what you are, he cannot be. So the day you start comparing yourself with others, you are creating unhappiness. Now, when you believe more money will make you happy, this is something which majority of the children today, they feel that they should take up a job where they get more money, or they should do a job, right or wrong, hook or crook, they must become rich. If money was to give happiness, then all the rich people would not be requiring sleeping pills to go to sleep at night. When you don't go after your dreams, my vehicle was caught by a police fellow because it was parked at a wrong place. So they had towed it away. So when I went to get my vehicle released, I told that police fellow that I'm an army officer. So, and I told him that I am guiding children aspiring to become army officers. So he said, I want my son to be trained by you. I said, most welcome. But what does your son do? So he said that my son is in the college, but he wants to become a pilot. Imagine, the son of that policeman wanted to become a pilot, and the father is wanting him to join the forces. If that child, supposing, unfortunately, he gets selected in the service selection, but do you think he will be happy in the army? His dream was to become a pilot. Make sure that you all go after your dreams. Another way of ruining your life is by staying in a job that you hate. If you do not like a job, and for some reason you are continuing in that job, you are ruining your life. Now, can I speak to Roshni Mishra? Roshni Mishra is online. Deepak?
Yes, sir.
Is Roshni Mishra online?
Roshni, open your mic. No, sir. I think she is not online right now.
Okay. Jatin Kori? Jatin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jatin, can you read the last line?
When you pick up the wrong partner.
Yes, I want all young people to understand that if you get married to a wrong partner, to a wrong person, again, your life is ruined. A lot of people commit this mistake. Don't stay in a job which you don't like. Do not pick up a partner who's not to your liking. So go after your dreams, stay in a job that you like, and pick up the right partner. Another thing that I want to tell children of your age, make enough mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes. Whenever you make mistakes, if you fall down, you get up. Again, you fall down, you get up. The more mistakes you do, the more wise men and women you will become. What experience you get by committing a mistake will be lifelong experience. And that is what makes a person matured. A person made, he is full of, you can say, a vision and experience. So this maturity, experience, vision, everything will come only and only if you have committed mistakes. So the more number of mistakes that you have committed, the more wise you are, and do not worry at all. If something has gone wrong in your life at any stage of your life, maybe your school, maybe your first year, second year, third year, something has gone wrong, you have failed in an exam miserably, in a competitive examination, you've done very badly, nothing to worry at all. The more mistakes you commit, the better human being you will become. And my last bit of advice. Please take this very, very seriously. Do not worry at all and be happy. In life, don't worry and be happy should be your mantra. Anybody who is not cheerful, not lively, anybody who is not happy, he is not only a useless human being, he is not only a burden to his family and friends, he is a burden to our country. With this, I come to the end of my talk, and I will take on the question and answers if there are any. You are most welcome to ask any questions.
So there are some questions posted by the participants. May I start, sir?
Yeah, please.
So first is, being nervous is a common myth during the interview, and what we can do to overcome it.
Being what?
Being nervous.
Yes, yes. It is very normal to get nervous if you lack knowledge, if you are not well prepared. Why will you get nervous? Because you are hesitant that you do not know some basic things which they are going to ask you. So to remove nervousness is one way is to have good knowledge, prepare for the interview. And one mantra that I can give you is have faith in yourself and have faith in God. If you have faith in God and you have faith in yourself, both. If you have faith in yourself and not in God, again there's some trouble. If you have faith only in God and not in yourself, again there's a trouble. But to remove nervousness, you must be well prepared. You must have knowledge. If you have kept your eyes and ears open, you know what is expected out of you in any interview, and you are going well prepared. Like in the Service Selection Board, I have just now told you what all they can ask you in the interview. About your family background, about your sports, about your extracurricular activities, about your hobbies, about your interests, about your achievement. If you have prepared well, you will not be nervous. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. So does being a repeater affects our performance in SSB?
No. If you have failed 10 times or 15 times, it makes no difference. They are going to judge you afresh. The question is, if you have failed 10 times in a Service Selection Board, does not mean that you are not good. It means that you have not been able to reveal your characteristics or your shades of personality, or you have not been able to reveal your strengths. Whatever are your qualities, the day you start revealing them, you will get selected. So supposing if somebody has not been able to reveal his shades of personality in the second attempt or third attempt, but maybe that the 10th attempt he has decided to hell with the Service Selection Board, I'm going to speak the truth and I am going to be absolutely original and I will answer what I feel like, whether they take me or no, and the boy will pass. Because why he has failed is because he has taken wrong advice from his friends, from those people who are not competent to advise him. He has probably tried to hide something. He has not spoken the truth. Have you understood? So whatever the qualities which I had shown in this slide earlier, whatever qualities I had shown, whenever a person is able to reveal those qualities which he has, everybody cannot have all the qualities, but whatever qualities a person has, the day he decides that he will reveal those qualities, speak the truth, and be very, very honest and remain original, he will pass.
So, sir,
Yes.
Pranav is asking, sir, in SSB many times it's being suggested to read books, but a person like me who doesn't like to read books, but I do have interest in listening to podcasts, then how would it equivalent to reading books?
Reading books is not necessary as long as you know why you do not read books. I have told you in the beginning only, they are interested in knowing what you know and not interested in knowing what you do not know. So if you do not write reading books as one of your interests, they will not ask you questions on your books. And supposing they ask you why you have not read any book, then you should be able to very honestly answer that I devote time in these things and I I'm not very fond of reading. But to such a person, I will recommend, still they should read one or two good books or small books. Like there's a book called Siddharth, there's a book called Fish, there's a big book called 1 Minute Manager. These books can be finished in half a day or 1 day. But people who read a lot of books also fail in the service selection board, and people who do not read books also pass. When I had faced my service selection board, I had read only one book in my life. That was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I had read only one book, and I told them that I have read this book because all my friends have read this book and they recommended it. But I was not a good reader. Yeah.
So, sir, there's another question from Sudhanshu. Sir, how to kill introvertness and enhance self-confidence in between the people?
If you want to kill, you don't want to be an introvert. Again, everything boils down to knowledge. If you have knowledge, then only you will like to interact with people. If you know what is happening in the country, you will like to interact with people. So if you have knowledge, you will be interacting with a lot of people. Second thing is, develop a few interests in life. Only if you are an interesting person, others will welcome you. If you are an interesting person yourself, say for example, you have read a few books, you are fond of movies. So when you are telling somebody about the book that you've read or the movies, then they will be more interested in you. And even if you are an introvert person, they will drag you out and take you out. And they'll say, come on, we are going for a movie now. Or we are going for a particular, a trip to some place organized by the college. Another thing is to remove your not being introvert. Is if somebody has realized that he is introvert, you can take it from me in writing that he will become an extrovert. Realization is very important. That is why in the service selection board, they ask you as to what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Anybody who realizes that this is my weakness, you can take it that that weakness will go away very, very soon. But if you have good knowledge, you will be able to talk to others. You will be an interesting man. You will be an interesting company, and you will yourself feel that the others are liking you, and then you will like to go with them. Have I answered Sudhanshu's question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And sir, there's a last question.
No,
for
no,
the event.
I'm in no hurry. I am in no hurry at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. So the question is, if a student hasn't joined the NCC, so does it reduce the chances to get selected in armed forces?
If he has joined the NCC, still he can fail. If he has not joined the NCC, still he can pass. Question is not his joining the NCC. Question is his participation in other activities. If he has not joined the NCC, he should have participated in something else. Question is, how has he spent his time in the college? So if somebody has participated in the NCC, yet he may not have officer-like qualities, he may not have a good power of expression, he may not be socially well adjusted. So there in the service selection board, there is nothing except that you should be a good human being. You should be reasonably intelligent. You should be very well adjusted in life. You should be a happy human being, and you should have your eyes and ears open. Say, for example, if somebody has joined the NCC, obviously it gives an indication that he has tremendous initiative, but he can show the initiative elsewhere. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And sir, some students are asking for how you prepare during your time and in how many attempts you cleared the SSB and in which academy you went.
Okay, I'll be very, very honest. I cleared the service selection board in my first attempt. I will also be very, very honest with you that I cleared my written in the last attempt. So I had only one chance to get through the service selection board because of my age. I got through the last attempt of my written and the first attempt of my service selection board. How I cleared the SSB, I went to Minerva Academy in Chandigarh. And those 14 days when they trained me, I really understood that it is nothing very big. One has to speak the truth. So they asked me, what newspaper do you read? So I told him I cannot afford, that time I could not afford a newspaper. And by the time I used to reach the recreation room during breakfast, the paper was nearly mutilated or torn, and good portion was taken away by people. I studied in Haryana Agriculture University, Hisar. So I told him that I don't read the newspaper. But those times it was pardonable. But today, if somebody is not conversant with what is happening because of the social media, because of the TV, that time there was no TV, and I used to get 150 rupees to you can say to go through the entire month. So a newspaper 30-40 rupees that time was a very, very big thing. How I prepared is I knew what questions they are going to ask me. So they asked me about my family background. I was very clear. Then they asked me about my academic background. So I told them that I am not good in academics. They asked me why I failed. I said I'm very poor in maths, and I could have never in my life cleared maths. Then they asked me what games I play. I told them that I play every bloody game that is possible, which is being played by others, except that I was never in any team. When they asked me about my hobbies and interests, of course, I did mention that I have plenty of them. Similarly, they asked me about my achievements. I did not have many achievements, but whatever small achievement that I think I came first in a few subjects, I mentioned. Then I got a prize in debate, I did mention. Then I told, like say, for example, they asked me about your interests. I said, I like to see places. So we friends during summer vacation, we had gone to Rajasthan, we had gone to Nainital, we had gone to Shimla, we had gone to a few places. I did mention that. What is expected of a fellow is that he should utilize his college days with fun and take part in all activities, spend a lot of time with his friends, spend his spare time very judiciously, and he should enjoy his spare time. So this is how I had prepared, but things then and today are slightly different. So that time, if somebody could speak the truth and was very honest and original, yes, he could easily get through. But these days the competition is more because your competitors are very intelligent and very hardworking. Our time, people never used to work so hard, and they were not as intelligent as you people are. Yeah.
So yeah, sir, another question is from Pranav. Sir, he's saying in SSB, we are being asked about what is your parents' opinion about yourself and your
Yes.
friend's opinion about yourself. So how are we supposed to answer such questions? And also students are asking, can we get this presentation after the Zoom
Yes.
meeting?
This is hardly any presentation. So most welcome to take this presentation. I will give it to Deepak. Not only this presentation, before I answer your question, I want to make it very, very clear. My number can be taken by the children. I am an expert on current affairs, and there is going to be 2 days session of current affairs in Gurgaon in my academy. I am the director of Gunwal Tejas Academy. And on the 10th and 11th, I am going to cover everything which is important within the country, in the region, and in the world. From
Okay, sir.
morning 10 o'clock till about 4 o'clock in the evening, anybody who wants to join, he is most welcome to join, free of cost, for 2 days. Only thing is he should carry his pack lunch, because we'll not be able to organize lunch on the 10th and 11th. Anybody who wants to become, I won't say an expert, but who wants to become very good in current affairs is most welcome to join. I should get the names through Deepak. And once I know, because there is a seating capacity, already there are a few people who are registered with me. So we'll try and accommodate as many as possible. So this is the current affairs part. Secondly, in case it is not possible for you all to attend, I can organize another meeting for about another Zoom meeting for 1 hour, and I can cover the entire current affairs of what is happening in the country and in the region. Like in the region, what is happening is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, ASEAN, BIMSTEC, BIBIN, SARC, then what is this called, the Indo-Pacific region, and then Quad, AUKUS, and a few more. So whatever is happening, we can cover in detail, and it is not something very big. In 1 hour, you can cover it. Though I take about 2 days, and in those 2 days, people do get fed up with the bombardment of knowledge, but thereafter they always, in the interview, when they ask what are your strengths, they say we are good in current affairs. Okay, now I'll answer the question that you had asked. What was the question?
So the question was, 1 second, sir. Sir, he's asking, many times in SSB we are being asked about what is your parents'
Yes.
opinion.
Okay.
Yeah,
So firstly, I will tell you, in your parents' opinion or your friend's opinion, please do not write your biodata. Don't start writing he's very intelligent. They think I'm intelligent. I'm hardworking. I'm honest. I'm this. That. This is all very crap. This is all nonsense. Right? Actually, ask your best friend as to what he feels about you and note it down. And write truthfully, keeping your hand on your heart, and write exactly what your friend tells you. Similarly, ask your mother and father that what do they feel about you? And whatever they feel about you, those are the things that they are looking for. But for God's sake, do not write anything negative in this. Not even the mildest form of something negative about yourself. If you're writing, you are confirming that you are like this. Say, for example, if you ask your father and he said that you are a lazy chap. Now you can't write that I am lazy. My father thinks that I am lazy. That means you are confirming it. So any good thing that your mother and father have to say about you, or what your friends have to say about you, the friends may tell you that you are very jovial, you are very lively, you are very cooperative, or they can say that you are very brave, or you are very courageous, or they can, whatever your friends actually feel about you, if you write that, then only it will be believed. After all, they are very experienced people and they can make out. Okay. So don't write what is written in the PIQ form, or they know if you're intelligent, obviously your marks will tell you, your OIR will tell you. So you don't have to write, don't waste, and don't write more than 4 or 5 lines. Don't write more than 4 or 5 lines on each. And this is the only thing which I recommend that children should practice and write it down what they have already decided. Okay.
Okay, sir. Kushal is asking,
One
sir, sir,
Yes,
from
sir.
which entry you have cleared SSB? And
Yeah.
and Vishwadeep is asking, is it possible to start online classes for SSB?
Okay. First thing is, I had cleared the Short Service Commission. So I had gone to the Officers Training Academy in Chennai. So I was a short service officer because I could never in my life, even if somebody had given me a question paper, I would not have been able to clear the maths paper. I have studied maths only till class 8. In class 8 also, I may have failed in maths. So in class 9th onwards, I did not take maths. So written part was totally ruled out. So my regular commission was ruled out. But when I went to the Short Service Commission, not that I was good, but the people under whom I served were so good that I got permanent commission. And regarding the online classes, my dear, you are most welcome. Whenever you want. It is not only, it will give me happiness, but it is my duty also to repay to the society. The society has given me so much. It is time for me to repay. Whenever you want online classes, we can have a online class on the interview techniques. We can have a separate online classes on the psychological testing. We can also have an online classes, not of the GTO, but certain portion of the GTO, maybe the group planning exercise, or say a group discussion or a lecturate. But otherwise, the current affairs, we can have a separate online class. No, your voice is breaking. I couldn't hear you. Yeah. No, I couldn't hear anything.
Continue, sir. Continue. I guess
no, I could not hear what somebody was asking me. If you can repeat the question.
I guess Hitesh was asking something.
Yeah.
Hitesh, can you speak again? Can you unmute yourself? No, sir. I guess he has left.
Okay. So, yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir, I'm Deepak here, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, yes, sir. When I attended your session in 2019, sir, so sir, at that time you told an experience about your interview. कि सर आपका वो अपने दोस्त वाला कि अगर आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड वाला जो
नहीं
आप
नहीं मैं
सर सर वो बता
So-
देते रहेगा.
Chalo, I don't want to say no to you. So they had asked me a question that if your friend and you have gone to Vaishno Devi and he is skidded and he has fallen down and he was newly married and he got hurt in the head, what will you do? So I told him immediately we'll evacuate him. During that time, there were no other means other than the Khachar. So we told him that we will take him to Jammu because Katra did not have any facility that time. So they asked me this question, if the doctor told that he has to be immediately operated and your friend has refused the operation. He said that I have run away from my house. My wife is not acceptable to my house and my wife is not acceptable to her own house now. They will not accept her because she has run away with me. And supposing if I die, then she will be left high and dry. She will be in a lurch. She will not be able to go back to my house or her house. So he said that you give me a guarantee that you will marry her in case I do not survive in the operation. So what will you do? I had taken a decision that I will never lie in the service selection board. I had to speak the truth. So I said, it is not that I could have said that, sir, I may say yes and then may not marry or something like that. That's all nonsense. So I said, sir, if I like the girl, I will marry her. If I do not like the girl, I will never marry her. It's a question of my life. Even if somebody has 2 children or 3 children and I like her, I'm willing to marry her. But if I do not like a person, whether that fellow succumbs to the operation, whether he undergoes the operation, that is his headache. But it's a question of my entire life. I will not get married to somebody whom I do not like. And then he had asked me one question. Supposing he agrees for, you like the girl. He told me, supposing you like the girl, and he agrees to undergo the operation and he does not survive, what will you do? I said, sir, when he is undergoing the operation, I'll pray to God that he should die, because if I like the girl, I would want to marry.
Yeah, understood, sir. Yes,
Okay.
this was the experience.
Yeah, but those were different days. Now it is not recommended that you crack a joke or take things lightly in the interview. The children are also different type. The assessors are also not of that vintage where they were fatherly figures. So this is it. Yeah. Anything else? Any other question?
So, sir,
Yeah.
yes,
Sir, actually, I
Vanshika.
want to know, sir, if a person already know that he will fail in
If a person already knows,
the last exam, should he take the chance for the initial ones? So, like, अगर एक person को पता है कि उसने medical out होना ही है, उसका spectacle का number बहुत high है, तो वो army के लिए eligible ही नहीं है, तो क्या फिर भी वो NDA का return SSB दे?
yes, yes. And I will advise that person, whether it is you or that person,
हाँ जी.
you should believe in miracles.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, but
You
sir,
should believe in miracles,
okay.
firstly. Secondly, the rules keep changing. Third, even if you get rejected on medical grounds, you have a certificate that you have cleared the service selection board. In any other interview that you go, they will view you from a different perspective, that this candidate has cleared the service selection board. And there is nothing known as a defect in the eye. It can all be treated, it can all be operated. The kind of treatment that is available today, they operate and bring you to the desired level.
Okay. Sir, actually, I have one more question. Can I?
Ask me 10 questions. I have all the time in the world to answer. Yeah.
Sir, actually, want to know कि sir, मैंने still first year में अपने college के, and I'm still confused about my goal. Like, if I read a particular article about army, मुझे लगता है कि यार मेरे को army में जाना है. And then again thought, जब मेरा बचपन का dream मेरे को याद आता है कि जब मैं class 8 में थी, मैंने dream देखा था that I want to become an IPS officer. तो सर मैं बहुत confused हूँ इस time कि like I'm not, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि मेरा एक्चुअली गोल क्या है. मुझे ये भी करना है, मुझे वो भी करना है, मुझे एनडीए का रिटर्न भी देना है, मुझे यूपीएससी भी करनी है. आई एम सो वेरी कंफ्यूज. मतलब क्या करना चाहिए इस सिचुएशन में?
देखो, आपने खुद ही बता दिया that you are keen to join the forces and keen to join the police services.
Yes, sir.
So both are similar, similar in the sense it's a uniform job. So you can plan for both. The only thing is if you want to join the IPS, you will have to take a slightly longer coaching because the written examination is a bit difficult. Whereas to join the army, you do not require a very, very lengthy coaching. It can be done on your own, or a very short course will see you through. I do not know whether to say this or no, but the destiny will take you to your destination. So don't worry, have faith in God, have faith in yourself, try for both. Wherever you get through, the destiny will
Okay,
take
sir.
you. But you must have 1 or 2 backup plans always, just in case you can't get through to your main goal. But remember,
Yes, sir.
God has already decided what you will be in life. Only
Yes.
thing is, sometimes the God decides that this person will go through a very, very hard work, and he will give you the capability to work hard. Okay. So just don't worry. What is the slide showing now?
Don't worry and be happy. Enjoy
If,
the show.
if this mantra gets sunk in your head, you will by and large be very happy. And another thing is, it is not the job that matters. It is you as a human being should learn to be happy. Like you learn how to eat with fork and knife. You learn how to do so many things. Learn to be happy and have faith in yourself and have faith in God. Things will fall in place.
Okay.
Okay. And as far as confusion is concerned,
Yes.
do not call it a confusion. Say that you have a wide variety of interests in life, and you want to become a police fellow also, and you want to become an army person also, and you want
Yes,
to
sir.
become, say, for example, into the teaching or into some other profession or into a multinational company. If you have 4 or 5 interests, there is nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
But there is no point becoming an army officer if you are unhappy. There is no
Yes.
point becoming the president of this country if you are unhappy. If you are a clerk and you are happy, it is better than becoming an officer and being unhappy. So start being happy.
सर आज अभी तक ना मैं बहुत कंफ्यूज थी लाइक कि मेरे को ना बहुत मेरा हाईएस्ट प्रैक्टिकल का नंबर बट मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है दैट आई वांट टू गिव एनडीए इस बार एनडीए गर्ल्स के लिए भी हो गया तो मुझे था कि मुझे रिटर्न देना है एसएसबी भी बट फिर मुझे लगा कि जब मैंने एंड में आउट होना ही है तो फिर मैं ट्राई देखी भी क्या ही करूंगी
नहीं,
मैं
नहीं,
बहुत
see,
confused थी।
in this world, nothing goes waste. So what
Yes, sir.
preparation you do for one particular exam will definitely come handy to any other exam.
Yes,
Okay?
yes,
It will come handy in some other exam.
yes.
And then there are so many fields where in the SSB, I do not know what is the degree of say damage that is there in your eyesight, but things can get better.
Miracle always happens.
Miracles always happen, and with me,
Yes, sir.
miracles have always happened, and what was not possible has always happened.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. मेरे को मेरे क्वेश्चन का आंसर मिल गया जो मैं इतने टाइम से कंफ्यूज थी। Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any other question? If there are
Okay.
no, yeah.
No questions now, I think.
Okay. So if there are no questions, my 3-4 commitments. First thing is this, these slides, I will hand it over to Deepak and you can take it from him. Second thing is, whenever you want a program like this on current affairs, I'm available. If you want for the SSB preparation, it can be in smaller parts so that we do justice to that topic. Anybody who wants to attend the current affairs in my Gunwal Tejas Academy in Sector 45 Gurgaon on the 10th and 11th, free of cost, I will cover entire things that are happening in the country, in the region, and in the world. So from my side, I have finished. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Back to Deepak.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I think we have reached towards the end of the webinar. I would like to thank Mr. Kulwant Singh sir for taking out his precious time and shed light on such an important topic. I would also like to thank the audience for being here with us until the end. I hope this webinar was very much fruitful to all of you and all your queries were solved and resolved. We will soon be sending you in the feedback forms. So kindly fill those in so that we can send you the e-certificates. I would now like to hand over the stage to Tushar so that he can put his vote of thanks.
So, sir, we from DUGA's team would really thank you from bottom of our heart for taking time from your busy schedule to be the guest speaker at our seminar. Your presence and wise word helped magnify our cause in the best possible way. Our seminar was a huge success. Thank you, sir, for giving your precious time.
करता क्या है?
Have we finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Thank you very, very
We will
much.
we will be sharing the feedback forms on the WhatsApp groups. So do fill that forms. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, सब WhatsApp groups पे ऐड हो ना? अगर नहीं हो तो मैं भी लिंक चैट बॉक्स में डाल देता हूँ. बताओ.
Yes, please share the link of WhatsApp group.
Okay. Wait a second.
Yeah.
From which college do you all belong? Can I?
We all are from different colleges, and DU guys is a team. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So guys, एक बार check करके बताओ WhatsApp link हो रहा है ना?
Chat box में नहीं है, I guess.
Wait.
On the group. Send it on the group.
Everyone में डालना पड़ेगा. Sorry. Check it now.
Yes, it's there.
Okay. So guys, you can leave the meeting after joining the WhatsApp groups. Thank you for attending till last. Okay, see you all in future.